Hi, I'm Matthew Burchette, and we are back for episode 2 about the Huey, and more specifically about this guy, Cal Kam, who flew it in Vietnam. Not this particular Huey, but one just like it. Cal, can you remind everybody what we did in episode 1?
Okay, in episode 1, I mentioned to you that I was with the 240th Assault Helicopter Company, and we were stationed in Bearcat. But we did a walk around, like a mini pre-flight.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Of the helicopter, and we just kind of talked about different things that we did on the pre-flight.
Cool. Well, that generated a lot of questions, and now Cal is going to answer them. Okay, Cal.
Yes.
How are you?
Good.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I think I am.
Okay. All right, let's dive right in.
I don't know what you're going to ask, but yeah.
It's all good stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
It's all good, despite it coming from the internet. It's all good stuff. Okay. One of the things that we did in the first video is that we walked around the aircraft, and you talked about the startup procedure, and you specifically talked about the fire extinguisher, and that got people, no pun intended, fired up, one way or the other. And so Dickie Burgess says, I did this every time we started. I was a UH-1H crew chief for 5.5 years in the Army Reserve. I assume he means that he used the fire extinguisher like you were talking about, jamming it in the hole just to make sure that nothing bad happened. Now, Charlie Whaley says, I was a crew chief for 2 years and never used the fire extinguisher like he stated. We would open the small door and look inside as the pilot started the engine. Now, let's go check out that small door that he's talking about, and we can kind of run through how all of that worked.
Okay, sounds good.
We're gonna have to open the door, which is fine by me.
Okay. I'll push on the back. Make sure I don't hit anything.
We're good.
Okay, this is the door that I was referencing. In fact, it says access for fire extinguishers.
Okay.
So that means, every unit has their own SOP, standard operating procedure. Now, ours was that you had to grab the fire extinguisher. And some units, it may not have been a requirement.
Okay.
Or it may have been that you don't grab it because you have to put it back.
Yeah.
So, but what the purpose of it is to open this up. Sitting in here is the engine compartment. You can have broken fuel lines, you can have broken oil lines, leaking oil lines that's dripping on the engine, and majority of the fires start in here. So you just stick your nozzle up here, and once a fire starts, because it is fuel, it goes real quick.
Yeah.
But not criticizing any unit, it's the SOP, the standard operating procedure of the unit. And their unit, obviously, they did not require the fire extinguisher.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. Good question. Riley, DJ8764 from YouTube says, what's the purpose of the little steel walls where the Hueys are parked?
Okay, that's the revetments.
Okay.
Okay, at night you put the Hueys away, but you put them into the revetment because if you're rocketed that night or people shooting across the berm, you've got something to protect the helicopters.
Makes
sense. So it's just for protecting the helicopters.
Okay. Stan Rockwell on Facebook says, my question would be, were you ever shot down? I would also like to know how bad the weather would have to be to ground you guys.
Okay, the answer was I ever shot down? The answer is no.
Really?
Yeah, never was shot down. Never had a hole in my helicopter.
No kidding.
Yeah, and though there were the helicopter in back of me and in front of me, I still remember 2 incidences. They were shot down. Had helicopters, again, in front of me and back of me with holes in them, but I never had a hole.
I think you and I need to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
You're a lucky guy.
And the other question was?
The other question was, how bad did the weather have to get
Okay.
to ground you?
It had to be real bad.
Really?
As long as we could see, say, 1 mile, because we flew low level. We never flew at altitude.
Yeah.
So as long as we could see the ground and we had at least a mile visibility, we went out.
Wow. Okay. I like this one. Kurashime on YouTube says, my dad was a Huey crew chief in Vietnam. He always said the only way the Huey can fly is by beating the air into submission.
You know, that expression is used more with the Chinook helicopter, the tandem-bladed helicopter.
Oh, that thing is loud.
Yeah, it is. It literally beats the air. But yeah, when there is a lot of wind that comes off these.
There's a Huey that's in the area, and it flies over my house, and it is such a distinctive sound.
Yeah.
Just the twin really wide rotor blades really thwap.
Yeah. And that popping sound, you notice, only occurs when the helicopter is coming towards you. The minute it's on the side of you or it's going away from you, you don't hear the popping. And the science of that is the Doppler effect.
Okay.
The sound waves, as it's coming to you, the sound waves gets compressed. And as it goes away from you, the sound waves get extended. It's in that just narrow band right here, you hear the popping sound.
Oh, that's cool.
And it only occurs when it comes towards you.
Who would have thought we'd have science on Curator on the Loose? Amazing. Do you want to tackle another science question?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see. How did it perform on a high density altitude day?
Oh, okay. You lose a lot of lift on a high altitude density day. And explaining density altitude, the easiest way I can say is that when the air is hot and humid, the air is very thin. So the rotor blades cannot bite much air. On a cold day, it's heavier, which allows the blades to grab more air.
Okay.
And gives you more lift. On a high density day, you have to consider how much fuel you have and how many people you're going to put on board.
I've seen video of the Mike models, the gunship models, and instead of, coming up to a hover and then taking off, they literally just kind of boink, boink, boink until they get up enough rotor speed that they can finally claw their way into the air.
And when you say they're trying to get enough rotor speed, what they're really trying to do is reach translational lift. Okay, so again, the best way...
That's a good rotary wing term.
It is. It's a translational lift occurs when the rotor blades convert from being a big fan to a wing.
Oh, okay.
The rotor blades are wings.
Same thing, yeah.
That's why it's called a rotary wing airplane. At a certain speed, which is usually somewhere around 5 to 10 miles an hour, the rotor blades turn to a wing.
But not in a high density situation.
It takes you longer to get it to, and sometimes it doesn't get to that last bounce, you're on the ground. But you're going forward to convert the rotor blades from a fan to a wing.
That's really cool. These are some great questions, y'all. Good job. Let's see. Okay. Why did you take the doors and seats out? Soldiers must have slid out.
In Vietnam, we took these seats out. This area here was all open, and the troops just sat on the floor. Now, the reason for that is if they were in their seats, it takes a long time to get out of here. Just as they were maybe a foot off the ground, the troops would just start jumping out of the helicopter because they don't want to be in this thing any longer than
it's a big
necessary.
target.
Right, it is. So they just sat on the ground. Not a single troop in our unit through the whole year I was there ever fell out of this thing.
Wow.
Okay, so they just, let's stand up here for a minute. So some of them would feel comfortable just sitting on the floor no matter what the helicopters were doing. Some of them would put their fingers inside of these rings
No
to
kidding.
hold themselves in, or at least
Yeah.
make them feel
Feel better.
better. And some of them, and we hated this as pilots, they would be sitting in here, and they would grab hold of our seats and hold on to the seat. And some of them would actually hold on to our seat belt. Now, that is very disturbing to the pilot,
it's gonna.
because all of a sudden you're leaning forward and you just slam back to your seat. So you have to go and yell at them to let go of your seat belt. But not one person ever fell out of it. Not while I was there.
Wow. What was the average life expectancy of a helicopter in the war zone?
Okay, now I'm talking about the crew chiefs, and I'm talking about gunners and the pilots. Now this number comes from the Helicopter Pilots.
Oh yeah, VHPA.
Right, the Vietnam Pilots Association. They said 11 days.
Wow.
11 days, and they based it upon how many casualties there were versus the number of days. Now you have to. It sounds better. I was going to try to make it sound better. But understanding that we usually flew 5 days a week and had 2 days down.
Okay.
But the unit flew every day. So really you have to divide that number into 5.
Okay.
But it's still 11 days.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, still 11 days.
How did you regain your mental balance after the war?
It seems like I changed my answer to that a lot. Because people ask me that. And now my answer is that when we came back as pilots, we still had a 2-year obligation. So in those 2 years, we were able to readjust coming back into what we call the world. In Vietnam. Whereas the GI who had only 2 years service, they were let out right away. And there is something called the Band of Brothers. I think it was a movie.
Yep.
There is something really to that. Because when we came back, we were still with our Band of Brothers. And we were able to decompress just being with them. We didn't have to talk about the war. In fact, we very seldom talked about the war. But at least you were with people who had the same experiences you did and understood what you went through and slowly adjusted back.
Okay.
So I contribute that to being the reason why I think of my adjustment.
That makes sense.
Everybody experiences the war differently, I believe.
Oh, absolutely.
And everybody experiences how they process it when they come back home. But I think everybody who has been in combat will always agree the war never leaves you. So even though these people, pilots or whoever comes back who are very functional, the war never leaves you. It comes back to you every once in a while.
Interesting. Thank you. That was a great answer. Smoker Jim from YouTube says, did you want to do any other job during your tour?
I thought about that when I was there. And one of the things I kind of decided on is I wanted to fly. If I had another job, it would be to fly something else.
Okay.
So there was a magic altitude that we always said that you wouldn't get shot at, and that is anything above 1,500 feet, because small arms fire can't shoot that high. And so then if I were to fly anything, it'd be something that had a mission that was above. And those aircrafts normally were not flown by the Army. Those aircrafts are normally flown by the Air Force or the Navy. So any aircraft that flew above 1,500 feet was something that I thought I wouldn't mind doing that. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. Nobody's shooting at you. Randy Jones, 4975 from YouTube says, would love to hear about helicopter training.
Our training was in 2 parts. One part was at Fort Walters in Texas.
Okay. I know where that is.
Okay, right outside of Dallas-Fort Worth. And that's where we did our basic training, which was learning to hover, and then basic navigation. Once you pass that, you move to your advanced training, and that was either in one of two locations, either Fort Rucker or Fort Hunter Stewart in Savannah, Georgia. Fort Rucker is in Alabama. That's where you learn your tactical, and that's where we learned to fly the Huey in there. And we also learned how to fly instruments in those two.
Oh.
You pass that, took about 10 months, 10, 11 months, and then you had your wings.
Wow.
I had one of the, I want to say, the best instructor pilots, okay, C.W. Johnson. And I thought I would never learn how to hover. Every day we'd go out, we'd spend some time hovering, and we'd come back down, and he says, "You're doing great, you're doing great." I said, "You gotta be kidding me." And he says, "No, one of these days you're gonna come out here, and you're gonna find that hover button, and you're gonna just start hovering." And he was right. It was on my 6th hour of flight time is when I could finally keep it within the, there was a concrete pad that we had to hover within. I was able to keep it. And it was just something that all of a sudden you just find where the center of the cyclic is. As soon as you find the center of the cyclic, you got it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Ooh, I like that. Okay, Tank11 from YouTube says, could you do a follow-up on the quirks of the Huey? I think that might be an entire episode.
No, but you know, as far as quirks go, there are two people that just don't get enough credit. You know, the pilot and the co-pilots always get all the glory. But the people who don't get any glory are the crew chief and the door gunner. Yeah. When I came out, every time I came out to do a pre-flight, these two individuals were already over here. They were prepping the aircraft, they were cleaning the windshield. These guns did not stay on the aircraft. They had to haul these guns out from the shack to the helicopter. This ammo box holds about 500, 700 rounds of ammunition. And somebody has to carry all that ammo out to these boxes.
No, thank
and
you.
They would carry it out here. They'd also wire. I'm going to move again. They would wire this ammo box because there was no way that this ammo box was actually fit everything in there. They just bring it up to here somewhere, and they would safety wire this box every morning.
No kidding.
Well,
now that's something that we're going to have to replicate for this bird.
Yeah. So now after we were done for the day, the pilots get out of the helicopter and they go back to the BOQs and shower up and have dinner and all that. The crew chief and the door gunner have to put all that stuff away.
Oh, wow.
They're still cleaning everything up. So their day doesn't get over till at least 2 hours after we've already landed.
Wow.
So they had a tough job to do.
The unsung heroes.
That's right.
Wow, that is really cool. I want to read you some compliments that came through. Okay. Solar Finder says, I love hearing experiences from those that lived it. Makes the history deeper and more meaningful. Just awesome. PSIN Claire Jr. says, in caps, this man is an example of a national treasure. And I
don't feel that way, but I'll take his word for it.
Says, thank you for sharing. This would have been lost to time. I could listen to this gentleman for hours. What a lovely man. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And I will agree with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to cut this one right here. We've still got more to do, and I'll be honest, we started yakking, and we kind of ran over time. So we're going to do episode 3, and we're going to look at some photos that Cal took when he was in Vietnam, and we're going to get to see his dad and some of what his dad did on Iwo Jima in World War II. That is pretty cool. So stay tuned. And again, if you have more questions or comments, you know where to put them. Thank you, Cal, again.
Thank you.
It's so much fun to be with you, and I love just kind of sitting here. I might make this my office.
Hey.
I know. You can come visit anytime.
Okay.
Thank you for watching. Tune in next because it's going to be super cool. And if you haven't seen the first video, you really need to. It's on YouTube, and it's on Insta, and it's on Facebook, and it's worth the watch.